Hi and welcome to our session on SAP Business Technology Platform solution diagrams. My name is Carsten Boennen. I'm part of the product management team, more specifically of the adoption enablement management as it is called. And I'm here today to give you a little bit of an overview and a sneak preview of the new solution diagram icons, the new solution diagram approach that we will take in the future, and that will help you in building your infrastructure. As you can see, the session is called XP286v, so if this is the session you're looking for, you're on the right place. And in addition to this, let me already state that we have very competent people in the background to answer your questions, and questions that can be answered in the end, if necessary, by me as well. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. The Q&A part will be after my part, so in the end, after, well, let's see, maybe 15 minutes or so. And until then, let me introduce you to what we did when it comes to solution diagrams. So basically, first of all, just very quickly, solution diagrams, just a way to visualize your infrastructure, to visualize your architecture, and to give you means to really build an infrastructure in a way that people can understand it. And you know, all talk is cheap, so let me quickly show to you what I mean by that. This is the Discovery Center, as maybe a lot of people will already know. And in addition to missions, use cases, and services, there's something new, the architecture catalog. And just to show you what I'm talking about, doesn't really matter which one we are looking at right now, but this is one of the solution diagrams I'm talking about. And as you can see here, the solution diagram is mainly consisting of icons, arrows, and boxes, and obviously names, product names, whatever. So what you see here is basically one of the architectures, one use of solution diagrams. So if you're using a solution diagram, this may be one of the things you want to do with this. Another thing might be just to build a project, to build a specific part of a project, to explain it to other people. And this is what you can do with solution diagrams. So for those solution diagrams now, it is important to have the right icons, to have the right boxes, to have the right understanding of what you can do here. And this is basically what this exercise is about, what this jumpstart session is about. What we would like to show you is, we would like to show you or give you a sneak peek on the solution diagrams, or more specifically the solution diagram iconography that we built for the new services. Let me quickly go back here and show you something. When you go to this part of the Discovery Center, you will see we have a service catalog. In the service catalog, you see a lot of services. All those services can be used in the Business Technology Platform. So if you're using the Business Technology Platform and you're planning to build a project, you're planning to build an infrastructure, you're planning to do anything in there, a solution diagram might help you in visualizing this and might help you in building this for your specific scenario. So to allow you to do this, we decided to give you a set of all those icons. So all the service icons that you can find here, you will find as well for download as a zip file in the GitHub, and you will get them there so that you can use all those service icons here. And in addition to this, you will need a tool to build those solution diagrams. So let me quickly go back here. So if you look at the architecture and you see an architecture like this, doesn't really matter which one we're looking at, you want to build this, you need a tool. So far, we offered a zip file with all the icons. We offered a zip file with a service icon, so everything that is BTP, all the BTP service icons were there, all generic icons were there. And in addition to that, you could build them using a tool of your choice. A lot of people use PowerPoint to build those solution diagrams. Others used Draw.io. Then again, others used, I don't know, other tools. For the future, we decided that we would like to make this a little bit more streamlined in two ways. In the past, we had a zip file with icons that you could use for the solution diagrams. And there were terms of use that are very specific. And at least for some scenarios where you wanted to use the icons, it was a little bit tricky to use them in a legal way. So what we decided is we will now offer solution diagrams, this solution diagram iconography, as open source. This is not there yet. So what you see, or what you will see in a second, is a sneak preview. So we chose to give you the opportunity to get like a sneak peek on what we will offer in the future when it comes to the solution diagrams and the iconography. And so we decided to go open source with the solution diagram icons, and we decided to at least come up with a favorite tool that you can use to build your solution diagram. So this is more like, you could say maybe a de facto standard or something that we would recommend, but it's not necessarily the tool that you need to use. It's just a tool that we would recommend, one of the tools that you could use. More specifically, we are talking about Draw.io here, or some of you might still know it as Diagrams.net. However, this is one of the tools that we would recommend, one of the tools I will show you in this exercise, the tool that we would like you to use when you want to do this jumpstart session, and that's that. So that's all about the solution diagrams. So to keep in mind, open source in the future, Diagrams.net or Draw.io is the tool that we would recommend, not necessarily the one you have to use, but we would recommend. And as said, what you will see in this session is a sneak peek. It's a sneak preview of what we will offer in the future. So let me quickly show you what we did here. Let's go back to this exercise here. So what I just said, you will find this as well in the session material. So this is really just for your information. What do we want to do? So first of all, we have the sneak preview at the TechEd here. Then the next thing that we will hope to finish in Q4 is to publish the BTP iconography as open source. And I cannot stress this enough, when we talk about the solution diagrams here, and we talk about the iconography, we are talking about the Business Technology Platform, right? So you will find all the service icons that comprise the Business Technology Platform. So everything you will find in the service catalog, you will find in this publication of the icons. If there's something missing, that's really important to understand. If there's something missing, we are always open to adding something into this. So we are really working, and we are aiming to work with the community here. So if you feel like something is missing, there's something that could be changed, just let us know, and we will evaluate it and add it to the iconography. So in addition to the icons, there's one more thing that is important when it comes to solution diagrams. To be able to use the solution diagrams in a meaningful way, it is important that the solution diagrams can be compared to each other. That means when you build a solution diagram, you need to follow a specific order, specific rules, and so on. So basically what we're talking about here is we are talking about guidelines. So in addition to the iconography, we have guidelines. We publish guidelines that will give you an understanding of how we feel the solution diagram should be built. This is kind of a work in progress because things change. So services are added, services are removed, things change in terms of what is happening. So that is always a work in progress. And again, if you have any feedback, just let us know. This is something we will publish together with the icons, with the iconography. And as mentioned, if you feel like, okay, there's something that you feel might be important that's not yet in the guidelines, just let us know. As mentioned, the Draw.io support. So when it says Draw.io support here, this is a little bit twofold, because first of all, we have Draw.io and allow you to use Draw.io, which is already possible. You will see that in the exercises. In addition to that, we are aiming to have Draw.io support in terms of kind of a built-in support. If we will have this in Q4 or maybe later, that's a different story. Basically, the support, when we're just talking about being able to use Draw.io, it's already there, so you can use it. And I will show you in a second how to do that. So that's pretty straightforward. Last but not least, this is planned for 2024. It's really important for us, as you maybe can see from, or already heard from what I said, to relaunch the community around solution diagrams. So basically, again, it's important for us to work with you. So if you feel there's something missing, there's something that you need that's not there yet, if you have any feedback, just let us know. And we will, in addition to providing the iconography and making that open source, providing Draw.io support, we will support the whole usage of those solution diagrams by providing templates, collaterals, any other information. And that will basically happen in 2024, starting Q1. And yeah, when it says evaluate further options, different story. That's something I might be talking about next time. But this is something that will happen in 2024. So when it comes to the exercise, and this is really the main part of what we're doing here in this Jumpstart session, when it comes to the exercise, I really prepared something quite simple, just for you to get a good understanding of what is there. And really, I want to encourage you to go beyond what we do in the exercise, because the exercise is basically about building a solution diagram. And building a solution diagram, for you, it's we have one example. And what you could do is, I showed you the Discovery Center. You could go to the Discovery Center, just choose one of the solution diagrams and try to rebuild that. And this is basically what we're doing in the exercise as well. So, but if we look at it, how do we build a solution diagram? The first thing that you should do, at least when it comes to solution diagrams that are SAP solution diagrams for the Business Technology Platform, read the guidelines. That's the first thing that you should do. Read the guidelines, ideally understand the guidelines, and then you have libraries that we provided through the exercise. So there are specific files that you will find in the GitHub that you can use. You have then you use Draw.io, and this is something that I mentioned explicitly here, because you can as well use the web client as you can use the desktop. And then import the libraries that we are providing for this exercise, go through the exercises, and really try to follow the order here. It's again mentioned in the exercises. Create the layers first, create the boxes, add the icons, add the connections, and last but not least, finalize and save your diagram. Always a good idea. Let me quickly show you what I mean by this. So first of all, preparing this whole thing is explained here, getting started. This is the diagram that we want to build. And preparing this, you can see this here, Draw.io. Let me quickly show you in the live environment. This was the wrong button. Let me quickly move there. Just create a new diagram. If you know Draw.io, it's pretty straightforward. You can just create this here, blank diagram. That will then allow you to create this. And as you can see now, you have Draw.io and it's pretty empty, at least on the sides. And this is really the important thing, and this is what we are offering in this Jumpstart session. We offer to you sneak peek at the libraries. The libraries, and this is something that we will explain in the exercises, the libraries, it makes sense to import them in a certain way, because Draw.io will put them in a specific order in there. So when you do this, I would recommend to go with the numbers first. And as you can see here now, it starts to put the whole stuff in the pane. And don't want to go through all of this, explained in detail in the exercises. But what is maybe interesting to you, so that you can see this here as well, those are the service icons. And when you go through the service icons, it always explains to you what it is. So here you have everything that you need then. When you imported all the libraries, you have everything that you need to build your own solution diagram. The whole process is explained in the session material. So when you want to go to the session material, you will find everything here. You will find the getting started part. This is basically about importing the libraries. And you will find the final exercise here, which explains in detail how to get from a blank Draw.io to this final solution diagram in detail. Again, keep in mind this is a sneak preview, so there might be changes. However, this should give you a good understanding of how this whole thing works. It should give you a good understanding of the icons that we provide. And again, if you have any feedback, let us know. And this said, I already see that I'm at the end of my speaking time, which means we can now go to Q&A. If there are any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them. Just let me know.
Live Q&A.
Okay, I see so far 3 questions. Let me start with one. Is there a Visio stencil available that we can use to create our own diagrams? If not, any plans on creating one? That's a very good question, and this is basically what I said earlier. First of all, to answer the question, no. Unfortunately, there is not right now, but this is exactly what I meant earlier when I said, okay, we are looking at the community to give feedback. This is exactly what we're looking for, because this is something that we might add as part. You remember the part where I said, okay, further activities under evaluation. This is exactly what we're looking for, and this is something that we might look into then. Does SAP have a product for managing solution diagrams as part of formal EA artifacts, including their relationships with other assets? That's a very good question that I would have to take with me, and that's a good question. That I have to admit that I cannot really tell you out of my head. This is something that I would have to follow up on. This said, just drop me an email, and I will be more than happy to answer the question or find someone who can answer the question. When will this be available was one of the other questions. So when will the solution diagrams be available? We are aiming for Q4. This takes, unfortunately, a little bit of time. This is mainly because we decided to go open source. So far, the thing is that so far the solution diagrams or the iconography was used in a way that was a little bit in the gray area when it comes to legal question. The whole thing to make that open source from a legal perspective takes a little bit of time. So we needed to create the icons first. We needed to create everything around the icons, and then we can put it into the process, walk the whole thing through legal. And again, we are aiming for Q4, and we hope to be done by then. So by the end of the year. So the question is, where do we get the service icons drawer? Oh, I don't see it in GitHub. That should be linked as part of the exercise. Last time I checked, it was still there. So that should be here. Yeah, and just download it. That should do the trick. A SAP BTP solution diagram, an alternative of SAP Signavio solution, different story. So that's two different things. So this is, this is something that please keep in mind. This is why I mentioned that earlier as well. When we talk about solution diagrams here, we're talking about the BTP solution diagrams, and this is just specifically for the Business Technology Platform, specifically for a specific scenario, and yeah, very narrow, as by now at least, a very narrow use case. Even though we realize that a lot of people use it in very inventive ways, actually. So that's quite nice to see that what people come up with when they use the solution diagrams and what they do with the solution diagrams and the iconography. Okay, there are several organizations have their own preferred tool. While Draw.io is excellent choice, thank you for that, by the way. Will there be any interoperability across tools? That's really important, and this was important to me when we talk about the solution diagrams. And thank you for that question. It's a really good question. What I, from a very beginning, made clear when I took over on this whole thing, we will provide the iconography as SVGs and PNGs. So in the past, that was already the case when you download the zip file of the iconography. It was SVG, PNG, and you could basically use them wherever you like. And this is something that we will keep up. Draw.io is just something that we took from the community, that we took from our customers, from our partners, and internally as well, to be honest. A lot of people said, okay, nice tool, we love it, and especially because you have a web client, you have a desktop client, you can use it anywhere you like. So very flexible, and everyone liked it. So this is why we said, okay, let's go with that as a kind of prototype, as a kind of first go-to place for people to use that don't have a tool that they already like. If you have a tool that you already like, it should be possible to use the iconography because, again, SVG, PNG, that should be quite straightforward. If you have a tool where it doesn't work, again, let us know and we will look into it and we will see if there's a solution for that problem, for that specific tool. Most tools that that I'm aware of would allow you kind of to work with SVGs, PNGs one way or the other. But again, if you have a tool that doesn't do that, let us know. Sorry. Will the GitHub site stay active for when icons are available? Quite frankly, again, a good question. The GitHub site stay active for when icons are available. It will not stay active per se, but we will have a GitHub page with the icons, yes. So as soon as the icons are open source and publicly available, so the whole set, everything available, the new guidelines and so on, we will have a GitHub where you can download that information. And in addition, we will provide a blog telling you, okay, you know what, it's officially available now, give you some more details, maybe go into the guidelines and so on. So we will give you an update as soon as the whole thing is through the open source process and finalized. Is there a kind of integration with Signavio or possibility to exchange data, schema, inputs, outputs? This is, again, so the part of the next step, the whole evaluation of integration, interoperability, and so on. So we will look into that. Right now, quite frankly, we are really at this point where the main energy, the main focus is on making this open source and providing the iconography, because we are fully aware of the fact that a lot of people are waiting for those icons, and we are fully aware of the fact that the people are waiting for the icons, and we would like to provide that as soon as possible. So the focus is on open source. Okay, I see I have 2 minutes left. So basically, I think we are done for today. Thank you all for joining, and wherever you are, I hope you have a nice day, nice evening, whatever it is. And again, thanks for joining us. And yeah, thank you.